Mother Teresa was born on August 26, 1910 in Skopje, the current capital of Republic of Macedonia. The following day, she was baptized as Agnes Gonza Bozakshu. Mother Teresa's parents Nicola and Dranafael Bozakshu were of Albanian descent. Her father was an entrepreneur who worked as a construction contractor and a trader of medicines and other goods. In 1999, when Mother Teresa, the Agnes, was only 8 years old, her father suddenly fell ill and died. While the cause of his death remains unknown, many have speculated that political enemies poisoned him. Agnes attended a convent-run primary school and then a state-run secondary school. As a girl, she sang in the local Sacred Heart choir and was often asked to sing solos. The congregation made an annual pilgrimage to the Church of the Black Madonna in Latnice, and it was on one such trip at the age of 12 that she first felt a calling to religious life. 6 years later, in 1928, an 18-year-old Agnes Bozakshu decided to become a nun and set off for Ireland to join the Sisters of Loreto in Dublin. It was there that she took the name Sister Mary Theresa after Saint Teresa of Lisieux. A year later, Sister Mary Teresa traveled on to Darjeeling, India for the novated period. In May 1931, she made her first profession of vows. Afterwards, she was sent to Calcutta, where she was assigned to teach at St. Mary's High School for Girls, a school run by the Loreto sisters, and decided to teach girls from the city's poorest Bengali families. Sister Teresa learned to speak both Bengali and Hindi fluently, as she taught geography and history and decided to himself to alleviating the girls' poverty through education. On May 24, 1937, she took the final profession of vows. On May 24, 1937, she took her final profession of vows to life of poverty, charity and obedience. She was the custom of Loreto nuns. She took on the title of a mother upon making her final vows and thus became known as Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa continued to teach at St. Mary's, and in 1944 she became the school's principal. Through her kindness, generosity, and unfailing commitment to her students' education, she sought to lead them to a life of devotion to Christ. Give me the strength to be ever and light of their lives, so that I may lead them at least to you, she wrote in prayer. On September 10, 1946, Mother Teresa experienced a second calling, the call within a call, that would forever transform her life. She was riding in a train from Calcutta to the Himalayan foothills for a retreat, when she said Christ spoke to her and told her to abandon teaching to work in the slums of Calcutta, aiding the city's poorest and sickest people. Since Mother Teresa had taken a vow of abundance, she could not leave her convent without official permission. After nearly a year and a half of lobbying, in January 1948, she finally received approval to pursue this new calling. That August, donning the blue and white sari that she would wear in public for the rest of her life, she left the Loreto convent and wandered out into the city. After 6 months of basic medical training, she voyaged for the first time into Calcutta slums with no more specific a goal that to aid the unwanted, the unloved, and the uncared for. Mother Teresa quickly translated her calling into concrete actions to help the city's poor. She began an open air school and established a home for the dying destitute in a dilapidated building. In 1971, Mother Teresa traveled to New York City to open her first American based house of charity. And in the summer of 1982, they secretly went to Beirut, Lebanon, where she crossed between Christian East Beirut and Muslim West Beirut to aid children of both faiths. In 1985, Mother Teresa returned to New York of spoke at the 40th anniversary of the United Nations General Assembly. While there, she also opened Gift of Love, a home to care of those infected with AIDS. In February 1965, Pope Paul VI bestowed the degree of praise upon the missionaries of charity, which promoted Mother Teresa to begin expanding internationally. By the time of her death in 1997, the missionaries of charity numbered more than 4,000, in addition to thousands more lay volunteers. Within 610 foundations in 123 countries around the world. Despite the widespread praise, Mother Teresa's life and work have not gone without its controversies. In particular, she has drawn criticism for the vocal endorsement of some of the Catholic Church's more controversial doctrines, such as opposition to contraception and abortion. In 1979, Mother Teresa said, "I feel the greatest destroyer of peace today is abortion." In 1995, she publicly advocated a no vote in the Irish referendum to end the country's constitutional ban on divorce and marriage. According to the servant leadership theory, Mother Teresa is almost a perfect model of a servant leader. Mother Teresa was a charity worker in India and also a nun. She had a clear vision. She was a selfless servant leader, dedicated her whole life to making others live better.